Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nicole and I like to 3D print, craft make, and today candle make. So if you enjoy this video and want to see more, please feel free to like and subscribe. But without wasting any more time, let's get into it. So firstly, I'm going to start with the materials that you might need. Wax, I use soy wax. I find that it is the best in terms of ingredients. It's all natural, vegan, so that's what we're going to be working with today. The next thing is a thermometer, and this makes sure that the wax is at the correct temperature, especially when we're pouring it. Next is fragrance oil. Also use essential oils, that works too. Next is candle dye. These are little chips of dye that you use. You really don't need that much. You just need a couple of chips. And I'm going to link everything in the description box just so you know what I'm using, and you can just click the link to purchase anything that you might need. The next is mica powder. It is awesome. It gives it that beautiful shimmer inside the candles. You'll definitely see the difference once I add it to a candle. So we're going to play around and see what works. Next is warning stickers. It is a good idea to get these if you plan on giving your candles away or selling them. If you're using them at home, there's no need, but it's definitely good to have these. And of course, I had to get the holographic ones. Next is wicks and their holders. I'm using wooden wicks today. I really love the crackling that it makes, and it also has a very clean burn. Lavender flowers. These are used to sprinkle on top to give it that extra little scent. Gold, silver, and bronze flakes. These give a really nice shimmer when the candle burns. Hot glue gun. You can use this to glue the wicks down in the center of the glass jar. And a heat gun, and I'll show you why I use that later on in this video. Some jars. These are just 8 ounces. You're also going to need a little scale to weigh out your wax and fragrance oil, as well as a little container here to fill your wax in the double boiler. We're going to take our jars and we're going to glue the wicks in. We're going to save the lids because we're going to do something really special with them later. We're just going to use this little holder here to hold our wick in place while we're pouring. We are going to be doing 2 different colors. I am going to be measuring out separate quantities of wax just so we get the approximate amount to fill just about the top of the rim here. Like I said before, each jar is 8 ounces and is equivalent to around 227 grams. We're probably going to go around maybe 220. Take our handy dandy container here. Zero that out. Perfect. Okay, so that's almost perfect. We are going to now transfer this to our double boiler and melt the wax. 2 colors that I chose today is purple and aquamarine. So while I melt the wax that I have over here, I'm also going to put a couple of these chips with a little bit of wax on the bottom and heat it up just to liquefy the pieces of dye. I found that when I added them to a large batch of wax, it just sank to the bottom, didn't liquefy. So I'm gonna try this method and see if it works better. Okay, so we're back from the kitchen and we have our melted wax. Heated up our wax to roughly around 180 degrees Fahrenheit, but we're not going to pour this until it reaches approximately 130 degrees Fahrenheit, just so there's no sinkholes, no air bubbles, and we also have time to put in our fragrance oil. We also have our little aquamarine dye here. It's super pigmented, so we're going to add little bits at a time just to get our desired color. now we're going to calculate the amount of fragrance oil that we need in this batch. So if you can recall, we had roughly 219 grams of soy wax. So we're going to need roughly 10% to make sure our candle smells nice and fresh. So we do that by 219 by 110%. And this equals to roughly 240.9. We are then going to subtract that from the amount of wax that we had, which is 219, to get 21.9 grams of fragrance oil. We're just going to set this to the side for another few moments before we pour. So our wax is ready to be poured. It's roughly at 130.2 degrees Fahrenheit. But before we pour, we're just going to put our warning stickers on the bottom of our jars. Prior to pouring our wax, I also found that heating up the jars with a heat gun really allows the wax to settle in the jar without getting a drastic temperature difference between the hot wax and the cold jar. So it allows it to seamlessly just cure without leaving any sinkholes or gaps. Now we're just on our next little batch of candle wax, and we have our violet dye, and we're just gonna pour little by little. Just a few more minutes. We're at 134. We're just gonna heat up our jar and then start pouring. Okay, so now we're going to be engraving our lids. Okay, so we're gonna start here and pull up our file that we created. This is just for the inside of the cap. Carpe diem, I just wanted to add something nice on the inside of the cap just to send a positive message. So let's adjust our settings. Our laser power is at 100%. That is too much. Let's put that down to maybe 40. I think that's a good amount. Just so it doesn't go through the cap. So we successfully did our first and it turned out amazing. Like, I never seen the laser do such a great engraving. So I think the settings that I just did, I'm definitely going to duplicate. So let's do it on the other cap. And we did it again. It looks great. I'm so happy with the results. And now let's print our logo on the front. We want to make sure that when it opens, when someone opens it, you see the writing face up. So it's been a few hours and we're ready to decorate now. For this one, I ended up doing a 3-layer candle with different colors. And right now I'm just letting it sit because it is still a little bit warm. So I'll keep you updated on this one. These two have pretty much fully cooled. You can see that it is pretty seamless. There's no gaps, no holes, but at the top, it's not that even. So to fix this, you just pour a little bit of wax over the top and it will create a nice finish. So I have a little bit of the purple melted wax here and I'm going to do that, and after that I'm going to decorate the top of it. And now we're just gonna do the second one. So now we're just gonna do some final touches here and just cut the 2 wicks over here. I'm just gonna use some pliers that I have. I hope you guys liked this video and learned a thing or two about candle making. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comments. And until next time, I hope you guys are doing good, stay safe, stay well, and see you next week.